What is the most foolish way you've heard someone pass away? My Uncle Ricky died because he was too proud to admit he needed glasses. This actually happened last year, and my whole family still can't believe how stupid it was. Ricky was 43 and worked as a delivery driver for this warehouse downtown. He'd been doing it for like 8 years, driving this big white van around town, dropping off boxes and furniture. The thing is, his eyesight started going bad when he turned 40, but he absolutely refused to get glasses. I remember family dinners where my aunt would be like, "Rick, you squinted at the menu for 5 minutes just to order a burger," and he'd get all defensive. "My eyes are fine, Karen. The lighting in here just sucks." But we all saw him lean forward and squint at everything. TV shows, his phone, road signs. At work, he kept having these little accidents. He backed into a concrete pole in the parking lot and dented the van's bumper. 2 weeks later, he hit a dumpster behind some strip mall because he said it came out of nowhere. His boss pulled him aside both times and was like, "Ricky, maybe you should get your eyes checked." But Rick just laughed it off. The crazy part is everyone could see this coming. My mom would always say, "He's gonna crash that van one day and hurt somebody." Even his coworkers made jokes about it. This guy named Pete who worked with him told me Rick would hold packages like 6 inches from his face to read the addresses. So anyway, last March, Rick gets this big delivery order across town. It was furniture for some new restaurant that opened up. The route was in a part of the city he'd never been to before. All these winding back roads and stuff. Now here's where Rick's stubbornness really kicks in. Instead of using GPS like a normal person, he printed out directions from MapQuest because he didn't trust robot voices telling him where to go. I'm serious. He actually said that. He's driving along, squinting at these printed directions, and makes a wrong turn somewhere. Ends up on this narrow country road with no shoulder, just trees and farmland on both sides. The road was pretty much one lane in each direction. Rick's cruising along, probably still squinting at his papers, when he comes up on this old railroad bridge. There was this huge bright yellow sign that said low clearance, 856 in giant black letters. Rick's delivery van was 10 feet tall. He smashed into that bridge going like 35 mph. The impact was insane. The entire roof of the van crumpled up like a tin can. You'd think that would kill someone right there, but Rick actually walked away from it completely fine. Not even a scratch on him. This is where it gets really stupid though. Instead of calling for help or getting away from the damaged bridge, Rick starts taking pictures with his phone. He's walking around the wreck, laughing and texting people saying, "Look at this funny dent in my van." My cousin showed me the photos later. Rick had sent them to like 6 different people with messages like, "Oops, LOL," and "Guess I found the bridge." He thought it was hilarious. But here's what Rick didn't notice because, again, he couldn't see properly. The impact had cracked the bridge structure. There were these huge cracks running up the concrete supports and chunks of cement falling down. The whole thing was basically about to collapse. Rick's standing there for like 10 minutes, still taking photos and probably trying to figure out how he was going to explain this to his boss. Then he decides to lean against one of the bridge support beams to rest while he made some phone calls. The second he put his weight against that beam, the whole damaged section came down. This massive chunk of concrete, probably the size of a refrigerator, fell straight down and crushed him instantly. The paramedics who showed up said if Rick had just stayed inside the van or moved literally anywhere else, he would have been totally fine. The van's cab was barely damaged, and the falling debris missed it by like 8 feet. But no, he had to get out and lean against the one spot that was about to collapse. What makes it even more ridiculous is that Rick had gotten his eye exam appointment scheduled for the following week. His insurance had finally approved it and everything. Karen had been bugging him about it for months, and he'd finally agreed to go. The whole thing could have been avoided if he'd just worn glasses or used GPS or literally done anything different, but Rick was too stubborn to admit he needed help with anything. At his funeral, Karen found his prescription in his wallet. He'd had it for 6 months but never filled it. She was so angry she almost didn't speak to our family for weeks because we'd all been joking about his bad eyesight instead of really pushing him to do something about it. The delivery company had to pay out this huge settlement because Rick wasn't supposed to be driving with impaired vision.